Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P Funk, out here in the lab. Got a little warm up there. Here. I take my thing, I got my little sweater on, doing what I do for you. Oh, I got something nice for you. So get your popcorn, get comfortable. This is going to be a nice little lesson. Let's rock. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune into receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? We can get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you know how to answer it for yourself, it's okay too, and I can help you with that. That's what I do. A person who knows not, and knows not that they know not, is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. Let's talk about right thinkers. Let's talk about yoga and religion. When I get done, I'm going to take you over to integral yoga, show you how it's used and where it's supposed to be done and how it works for you. Let's go. It's going to be a little minute, so I'm trying to get through it, try to get it all done in one lesson, all right? So let's talk about yoga is what? The practice of mental, physical, and spiritual disciplines. You cover every aspect of your personality, stem to stern. That's what yoga teaches you to do, which lead to what? Self-control and self-discovery. How? By purifying one's mind, body, and spirit all at the same time, so as to discover your deeper spiritual essence, which lies within every human being and object in the universe or creation. In essence, the goal of yoga, right thinking philosophy, practice is to unite or yoke one's individual conscious, you, with your universal or cosmic consciousness. How? Therefore, ancient Egyptian religious practice, especially in terms of what? The rituals and other practices of the ancient Egyptian temple system, known as, you ready? Shita Netta. Sounds familiar? Get educating on that. That's what right thinking spin off from Shita Netta. And it means the way of the hidden supreme being. God is hidden. You have to go and search for him inside yourself. We're teaching you how to do just that. That's the idea. Meditation is part of it. May be termed as a yoga system. Again, Egyptian yoga. In this sense, religion, because it's practiced daily. In religion in its purest form. I don't want the cut. I want the purest form is what? A yogic system, a philosophy, as it seeks to reunite people with their true and original source, aka your higher self or God. That's the intent of our ancient ancestors. In its complete form, religion, this is why I respect it, is composed of three aspects that makes it work. First is the mythological story. Okay? Second is the ritual or the practice of the story. And the metaphysical, if you do those first two things, you end up with the metaphysical, or what they call the mystical experience. We call it spiritual enlightenment, but this is not, we practice a philosophy. Y'all do a religion. So in your religious concept, it's called the mystical experience, or mysticism, or mystical philosophy, whatever you call it, it's all the same thing when you reach it. Now, while many religions, there's a lot of them, contain rituals, traditions, metaphors, you listening, and myths. And ain't never one said anything about literal or true or happening, literally. There are few professionals trained in the true understanding of what their deeper aspects and the psychological implications and the metaphysics and the mystical concepts behind said religion. If it's done incorrect by a person who don't know what he's doing, he's going to lead you the wrong way, or she's going to lead you the wrong way. There's a lot of that going on too. Thus, there is what? Disappointment, frustrations, and a bunch of disillusionment among many other followers who are what? As well as the leader within many religions who are what? Misunderstood, practice misinterpretation, and practically in all the Western hemisphere. I mean, all Western religions have some flaws. And because it is what? Difficult to evolve spiritually. Why? Without the proper spiritual guidance. If you got a church and followers are not growing, not doing better, what's the purpose of having a church? Even religion have to grow. You should grow. You should be growing. So through what? Introspection and spiritual research. That means you got to study, do your homework, okay? It is possible to what? To discover mythological vestas within the religion. That means the hidden message that's in it. Just said, Jesus spoke in parables. Okay, no, he just spoke and I didn't understand. There's two different messages that's given. I'm going to get to that in a second. Now, you can discover the esoteric, the mystical vestas within all religion, which can rekindle what? That light of spirituality. That means that knowledge of spirit, that godly knowledge. And at the same time will increase what? The possibility of gaining a fuller experience in life. Having a better life, living a good life by what? Living right and virtuous. The exoteric, EXOTERIC, that's the outer ritualistic part about religion. And that's forms of religion with what? Which most people are familiar with. Yeah, but it's only what? The tip of the iceberg. I told you, this is baby food. Moving on. Watch this, so to speak. But it is only a beginning, an invitation, or a prompting to seek what? A deeper esoteric message that I'm trying to get you to understand that I deliver. Why? In order for you to have to make the transcendental truth of your existence, you need to know this. What? Yourself. That's my goal. That's my intent. And through any means necessary, right now, I'm using yoga philosophy by any means necessary, or the meditation philosophy right now to get what? Purify your mind and get you to think right. The disciplines, and that's what these are, spiritual and mental disciplines to hold you accountable, like the 42 Confession Maya. It's a disciplinary concept to hold you accountable to do what? The right thing by you. That's all. I don't hold allegiance to nobody other than my higher self. But the disciplines of right thinking philosophy, the disciplines of yoga, they fall under, I gave you before, 5 major categories. And these are yoga of wisdom, got that. Yoga of devotional love, practice that. Yoga of meditation, love that. Tantra yoga, not my favorite, too much physical stuff going there. And yoga of, again, selfless action, that's my yacht. I practice all of them except the Tantra yoga, I tell you that all the time. But within these categories, there are subsidiary forms which are part of the main disciplines. Anything that's going to get you closer to God, anything that's going to enlighten you to yourself is a yoga philosophy, be it religion, whatever you want to call it. But the important point to remember is that all aspects of yoga can and should be used in what they call the integral fashion to effect an efficient and harmonized spiritual movement within oneself, you the practitioner. So therefore, while you may be in an area of special emphasis, other elements are bound to become part of the what? Yoga program as needed. Meaning you're prepared for any situation to keep your spiritual discipline, keep your yoga philosophy in line, intact, and you use it when you need it. For example, right here, while a yogin may place emphasis on the what? The yoga of wisdom, that's my favorite. There may also, and I do, practice devotional yoga. That's love for God. And meditation yoga, which I practice daily. Again, communicating with God. And along with what? My wisdom studies of yoga of wisdom. And yoga of right action. I implement all of them. That's the integral workers of how you use a yoga philosophy in your day-to-day life. Everybody got to stop sitting on the tree all day and contemplate until my enlightenment. No, you still got to live and do what you got to do. Work that into your lifestyle. That's all. I did it. Now, so the practice, here we go, the daily practice of any, I try to explain to you, discipline that leads one to what? Oneness with the Supreme Consciousness, aka God, is called yoga. Okay? Yoga is uniting you with your higher self. So any way you're doing it, it's a yoga practice. How about that? I hope you understand it. But now, if you study, rationalize, and reflect upon your teachings, now you are practicing yoga of wisdom. That's the first part about right thinking. You need to understand. But if you meditate, and you should daily, upon the teachings and your higher self, you are practicing yoga meditation daily over 10 years now. If you practice ritually, which identify you with a spiritual nature, religion, you are practicing yoga of ritual identification. I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Jew. You identify with whatever philosophy you follow, a dogma that you practice, that's fine. Like I say, they all work to get you to God. If that's the purpose, that's what you do. That's what happens if you do it correctly. I know that. That's what religion does. Now, if you practicing, which is part of what? Yoga of wisdom, also the yoga identification. And the yoga of what? Devotional love. Remember, you worshiping God. I go to fellowship with people who worship God every week. That's yoga of devotion. Simple. Okay? Now, if you develop your physical nature, your psychic energy, kundalini, what you're doing, you're practicing serpent power, aka Irat Shakim. Okay? Yoga. That's serpent power, aka known as kundalini, which is again another part of what? Tantric yoga. If you practice living according to the teachings of ethical, moral behavior, and selflessness, you are practicing yoga of action, aka Maya, when in your daily life. That's the emphasis I put on everything that you do. You got to do it daily and put it into your lifestyle. Shouldn't be nothing new. Shouldn't be nothing out the ordinary. You should practice it and work it right into your daily lifestyle. It tells you that. And if you practice turning your attention towards what? The divine by developing love for God, then it is called devotional yoga. Practice every Sunday by going to church and fellowship and worshiping God. The practitioner of yoga is called the yogin, male practitioner, or yogini for the female practitioner. And one who's attained the culmination, aka self-mastery of the yoga philosophy, union with what? With the divine. I mean, you made the connection awaken. You are called the yogi. In this manner, yoga has been developed into many disciplines which may be used in an integral fashion, again, as needed. It's better to have it and don't need it than need it and don't have it. And once you achieve the same goal, which is enlightenment, in this booklet, we're going to concentrate on what? The daily practice of yoga and meditation. That's what this book is for. All right? So that's what we're trying to purify what? our minds. We did the heart with Maya. So yoga is a tradition which has established a long, no, this ain't proven, a long proven record. This ain't suspect. This ain't, no, this is a proven record to what? Of success in teaching those who dare or choose to discover what? Their true self, their higher self, not self, thyself. First of all, the traditional approach to yoga instruction has been broken up into 3 stages. Again, back at 3 again. The first one is what? Listening. When the student is ready, the master will appear. You got to hear the truth. Somebody got to get your ear, so to speak. So the first thing you do is listen. And when you hear it, you should reflect on what you heard. Put some thought in it. Consider it. And then what? Meditate. Put it to meditation. Take it to God, so to speak. That's the concept. But now, in a broader sense, watch this now, you will be instructed, I'm going to help you with that, in this same manner throughout this book series. As I'm taking through, excuse me. So first, you will have to receive what? The teachings. Then you will be assisted in what? Reflecting on that teachings and learn how to incorporate it in what? Your daily life. That's daily practice of righteous, virtuous living, aka Maya, selfless service, action, service and action. You will then be instructed on what? How to intensify your reflective movement and gradually reach a meditative state of concentration of who? God. When you focus and get to God, you, the practitioner of yoga, you must be able to integrate the main practice of yoga in your daily life. It won't work without daily practice. This means that you need to begin adding small amounts of time to what? Dedicated to prayer and meditation, repetition of what? The divine, communicating, speaking words of power, chanting. And this exercise includes proper breathing, proper sitting, standing, preferably sitting, okay? Sometime in lotus position, I'll never do that, but I like to sit straight up, and breathing exercise, rhythmic breathing, and studying of the teaching. All these things in silence, and here you go, my favorite, selfless service, meditation, and daily reflection. These are things that you practice yourself, for yourself, to know yourself, to master yourself. This also means that you will what? Gradually reduce what? The practice which go against your good movement. Doing things that ain't right. Doing the things that ain't good. Stop the things that don't benefit you, that don't do you no good. You start learning to let them things go. Oh, I gotta have a cigarette. No, you don't. That's a choice. But that cigarette gonna kill you. You still gotta have it? Come on, man. Get past the nonsense. It's all your choice, again. But it will help you reduce the practice that goes against your yoga movement, aka good, righteous, Maya concept, as you gain more time for what? Shiti. What does Shiti mean? Study. And get more daily what? Spiritual practice. You need to study and practice what you study. That's Shiti. Okay, now let's get into integral yoga right quick. I'm seeing the clock. I'm trying to beat the clock now. Integral yoga is using all those yoga philosophy that you learn and use them accordingly. That's it. In Shaolin Temple, got 36 chambers. My man mastered all 36. We got 5 major disciplines of yoga. Master the 5, you'll be fine. Watch this. Now, the personality of every human being is somewhat different. Yeah, that makes us unique individuals in our own right, from every other. However, the sages of yoga have identified 4 basic factors which are common in all human personality. That means we all have it. No exceptions. These factors are, you ready? Emotions, that's your ego with feelings. Reason, that's thinking right, being able to think above the normal. Action, meaning to put into action what you know to be right, do the right thing all the time. And will, that's what you call meditation. the will to meditate with your higher self. That's all power. Those are things that make knowledge powerful. Why? You have it, you obtain it, you master it, then you use it. That's the power. This means that in order for a human being to evolve, to grow spiritually, all these aspects of their personality, which we call yourself, must progress in an integral fashion. So therefore, 4 major forms of yoga disciplines have evolved, and each is especially designed to promote a positive movement in one of the areas of your personality. Again, the yoga of devotional love, that's for God. Prayer, okay? That will enhance and harnesses what? The emotional aspect of human personality, and it directs it towards what? Your higher self. Remember, higher self is God. Supreme being, God. All conscious, God. Absolute, God. Okay? So you're doing these things to get closer to God, your higher self. But the yoga of wisdom enhances and harnesses the reason, the right thinking aspect of a human personality, and it directs it where? Towards your higher self. Again, everything is for the higher, for the better. The yoga of action enhances and harnesses what? The movement and behavior aspect in your human personality, and does what? Directs it where? Towards the higher self. The yoga of meditation, my favorite, enhances and harnesses the willing aspect in the human personality to get done, and directs it where? Towards the higher self. Everything I do, yeah, for the higher self. Trust me. Now, we got a little... This is how you match them up. I'm going to go through this right quick for you. We're going to wrap it up. In the end, this is where you want to be. Having understanding mentally. You had control of what? Your mind. You're in control. Now, I just showed you the yoga is a discipline of spiritual living. Again, spiritual discipline, which transfers what? Every aspect of your personality in an integral fashion. That means leaving no aspect of the human being behind. Don't have one good spot here and don't have that. No, you have to have everyone covered. And watch the example. This is important. Why? Because in unbalanced movement, you got this part, but you ain't got that part. So it's unbalanced, right? So an unbalanced movement will lead to, you ready? Frustration, more ignorance, more distractions, and even more illusions that's leading you away from what? Your higher self. You're going that way. For example, if a person claims to develop the reason aspect of their personality, and he or she may come to believe, right there, to believe that they have what? Discovered their higher self. I know myself. I know God. I got it together. I know this. Okay. However, when it comes to actually dealing with a real life problem that they're going to occur in life, such as, okay, death of a loved one, what happens? They cannot control what? Their emotions. They're going to fall apart. They're going to wild out. And if they are not tempted to do something what? Unrighteous, such as, back to their concept, smoking, they cannot control their actions, and they have no what? Willpower to resist things that's not good for them. That's ignorant. That's self-destructive. That's an ego mentality, and it's not good. The vision of integral yoga is what? A real lofty goal. Why? Because every human being can achieve it with what? The proper guidance and, my favorite, self-effort, putting in the work, and repeated daily practice. There is a very simple philosophy behind integral yoga, and is what? During the course of the day, you may find yourself doing various activities, and we all do. Sometimes you will be quiet. At other times, you will be busy at work. At other times, you may even be interacting with people, etc. Okay, but the knowledge and understanding of integral yoga gives you now the what? The opportunity to practice yoga at all times. In every situation, you can implement your what? Your yoga philosophy. When you have quiet time, you can practice meditation. Sit, just let it meditate. Okay? When you're at work, you can practice what? Righteous action, doing what you're supposed to do, and selfless service, helping others out. When you have leisure time, again, your time, you now can study and reflect on the teaching. I spend a lot of time reading. That's my leisure time. That's how I spend my leisure time. Okay? And when you feel the sentiment of love for a person or an object that you like, now you can practice what? Remembering the divine self who what? Made it possible. Gratitude, living thanksgiving for what? Your experiences and the company of those personalities, or the opportunity to acquire those objects from a higher perspective. You can practice reflecting on how the people and objects in creation are expressions of the one, what? Divine. And this movement will lead you to what? You ready? A spontaneous and perpetual state of ecstasy, peace, and bliss. Once you make your connection, once you put the work in, it just feels so good. And you can just bask in that on a continuously basis. If you reach it every now and then because you may dabbed in some drugs or got to the next level because enhancing from some, that ain't going to get you there. It won't, you can't stay there. I can go there anytime I want. That's the difference. Don't need no drugs. Which, watch this. When you have bliss and peace, aka the supreme good, sun and abundant, which are the what? The hallmarks of spiritual enlightenment. Somebody who's spiritual enlightened, they don't get caught up in a whole bunch of nonsense. And the purpose of the integral yoga, right thinking philosophy, is there to what? Promote integration of what? Your whole personality of the human being, which will now lead to what? Complete spiritual enlightenment, aka nihas. Thus, integral yoga should be understood, right thinking philosophy, as the most effective method to practice mystical spirituality. I'm dropping the pen because that's it, and that's just what it's all about. I'm trying to get you to have your own mystical experience for yourself, and then you will know thyself for yourself. That's the lesson. That's my mission. That's my goal. I'm on it daily. Hope you're following. Hope you tune in and get your lessons. In closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus a day. So I never know that my right thinkers who passed away. At least they know in themselves.